Hey guys, Rollout here with LEGO Transformers Leverage. As you can see, he transforms into a small excavator, complete with an interior. There's actually a seat and some controls in there. But while he looks alright displayed next to a minifigure, unfortunately, when you actually try to sit them down and fit them inside, you quickly realize there isn't quite enough room, which I guess is a little bit of a shame. There's an indicator light and a spotlight up top, as well as some taillights towards the back. I really like the treads. It's just a tire piece wrapped around some bricks, and while they don't function, they do look rather nice. Now, this entire assembly here does not rotate as it should, but you do have the proper plow blade, as well as an articulated bucket. In this mode, I think he's a little bit out of place with the rest of my Transformers, because he seems to be a lot larger. Here he is with step side, and believe it or not, the two of them have a similar parts count. The difference is that Leverage has a lot of empty space in the middle, making him seem bigger. That said, him and Auxiliary have kind of a similar thing going on, where the two of them are just barely close to minifigure scale, and because of that, I think they look alright with each other. His transformation is very straightforward, but there is kind of a fiddly portion in the middle that you're going to want to pay attention to. So first, come down to the bottom and remove this piece. There really wasn't much of a way to add this detail without making it a separate part, so we'll set this off to the side and come back to it later. Next, split the entire vehicle in half, and as you do this, you'll notice that just because of the nature of stud friction, this assembly will start to split apart. So squeeze those plates back together, make sure that stays solid. Next, we're going to bring this section down, like this, and flip the control panel up, just to get it out of the way. Now, this next section is deceptively hard to manage, because on these ball joints, we're going to bring the treads down and line them up with this section right here. The issue is, once again, this whole part up here will try to split. So you want to kind of micromanage that and make sure it doesn't happen. Once all is said and done, you can kind of use this portion here to help squeeze everything back together. Alright, next we're going to bring these down, lift these out of the way, and swing the seats off to the side. The back section here will fold in, just like that. Same thing over here. And that'll give us room to slide these forward. Alright, next we're going to take this assembly, swing it up, around, and to the front, and that'll fill in the body as the belly of the robot. Then, straighten out the arms, flip the control panel around, and bring down the head. Next, this section here is going to flip around. There's a stud right there, and this will go into his hand as a smoking pipe. And there you have him in robot mode. One might say that this guy has seen better days. He has sort of a potbelly, a high-waisted belt, he smokes a pipe, and he has a beard full of levers. He's an aged bot. Lever? Age? Leverage. Depending on who you are, that's either really clever or really stupid, and I'll let you decide. I think he looks great from the back. He's very tidy, but he's also quite back heavy. That said, you can rotate his legs and also slide them forward and back to get him balanced. You can also move them out like this, but I just don't see him running around on the front lines seeing a whole lot of action. Speaking of which, his head can rotate, it can move up and down, his arms can move forward and back, in and out. You can bend his elbows, thanks to this piece, which is very useful. His wrist can move, and you can also articulate his beard, which is kind of fun. He's very characterful. You can have him smoking his pipe. I used some ice cream pieces for the plume at the end there. You can also have him stroking his beard. He's not very articulate, but I don't think he has to be. I imagine him as somebody who stands behind the scenes and pulls strings. He has these lights on his hands, which look sort of like expensive jewelry, and I see him as some kind of mob boss, either for a space biker gang or the Cybertronian mafia. He's a master manipulator that gathers information on his enemies and uses it as leverage against them. Finally, we'll do some quick comparisons, starting with a minifigure, auxiliary, and step side. Just proportionally and aesthetically, I think these two match each other well, at least in robot mode. At the end of the day, this guy is super simple, but he's got a lot of charm to him. I'm usually not that big of a fan of smoking, overweight, and bearded Transformers, but hey, if Movie Hound can do all of these things, so can Leverage. So, until next time, this has been Rollout, signing off.